And we're back. Wait.
We're not back. We just started.
Oh. Okay.
Oh my god.
Hello! And welcome to I Have Questions.
I hate that voice that you do.
Not, whatever. Anyway.
We're back after last week's break because of Halloween shenanigans. Yeah. How was your Halloween?
Stayed home, played video games. It was nice.
Well, I didn't. Yeah. I went to Universal Studios and pissed my pants in fear from zombies and zombie clowns and zombie prison mates. And yeah, that was great.
Zombie cashiers, zombie patrons, zombie turduckens. You know, the works.
I tried to stay in the safe zones, but my friends were like, we want to be scared. Sure. Yeah. Everybody wants to be scared.
Yeah.
Except me.
So zombies do definitely tie in, at least to one of the movies we watch. One of the greatest films ever composed of schlock. So we're delving into early Peter Jackson. By early, his three earliest releases, not including short films, because he did have a 15-minute Ray Harryhausen-inspired short film. That was a student film he had made. So in that regard, we have Meet the Feebles, Bad Taste, and Brain Dead / Dead Alive. So the reason we're also doing them in that order is because we're going to go with the one that we have the least to talk about first.
Yeah. Also the one that's the least gross.
Bad Taste barely had anything in it, though.
Really? Bad Taste barely had anything in it?
Compared to when you have Dead Alive?
That's true. We've been desensitized by these movies, guys. Brain Dead has officially desensitized me of all gore forever.
Yeah, loved it. Anyway, we'll come back to my gushing over that. Gushing. Everywhere. Gushing. Anyway, so, Meet the Feebles, released in 1989. And it is the story of a musical theater group, I guess, that is trying to get picked up for syndication, essentially. We follow many people everyone that we meet is exposed in the kind of a vignette way. Tiny fractures of a storyline everywhere, and there's no real coherence, because we don't really get... it does a poor job of explaining what the hell we're going towards.
Yeah, basically, we looked at the time about 30 or 40 minutes in to be like, are we still introducing characters?
Because we couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. We've met a rogues gallery of rogues, shitty people in general.
Yeah.
Everyone's scum, by the looks of it. Death has no meaning in this world, because everyone and everything dies on a moment's notice. People...
With no reflection on it.
Nope. It's like, oh, we think we just ran over, or a bunch of possible extras just got run over by a barrel, who are literally dead because someone begins eating the corpse.
Yeah. The knife thrower's assistant dies. The cockroach in the porno dies.
Yeah.
And gets fed to a gangster.
Yeah, that's a whale.
That's a whale, but it has teeth. But it looks...
It looks like a giant anglerfish.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was a giant angler, but I looked it up. It's called Mr. Big the Whale. And I was just like, okay, cool. I don't know any whales that have teeth like that. That look like that. But then again, the way the puppets were designed, I had to look it up because I couldn't tell what half the animals were.
You told me a few of them, and even then it's like, I would never fucking guess that.
Yeah, and they're sized really weird. The sizes are all over the place for the animals. You don't know, because a hedgehog is around the same size as a poodle, and then we have a fly, which is huge.
Yes.
But all the animals that are big are really big, but when they're on stage with the other animals, they don't seem as big. It's so weird.
Yeah. We have a cat that's human size, but clearly doesn't have a person in it.
Yeah.
That would have been the same size as the poodle or the hedgehog.
But when she's next to the hippo, she seems really small.
Yeah.
But with the walrus, she seems kind of medium size.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, did they remake these puppets just for big scenes? Or were they filming it in a way that made them look big? I don't know. And then there's a worm that's the size of a snake.
Yeah, the stage manager.
Yeah, and just, it's all over the place. And I don't know. Well, it says, I looked it up, and it says it was supposed to be a TV show, but some Japanese investors wanted it to be longer.
Mm-hmm.
So they scrambled together a script.
It shows.
Yeah, it looks pretty scrambled.
Yeah.
Scrambled together. And they made a feature-length movie, but I don't know. Yeah, like you said, it doesn't
gel enough because it'd be one thing if all the smaller pieces came into something cohesive where like all these, roundabout, minor, all these little vignettes. If there's a point where all the little vignettes come together, that'd be great. But we don't get that till almost 40 minutes and 50 minutes into the film, and it's only an hour and like 30 something minutes.
Yeah, and it feels like the only thing that really connects all these characters together is the fact they're on the same show.
Yeah.
That's it. They barely talk to each other. Like the separate ones. You'll see like one or two puppets actually communicating with each other. But aside from that, the main character only really communicates with Bletch and the director.
Yeah.
Not even the stage manager guy. So
barely anyone actually talks to the stage manager. So the stage manager is the worm. Bletch is the walrus. Heidi, our supposed protagonist, one of our protagonists, I guess.
Is she really a protagonist, though?
I feel like Richard was kind of there, but...
Robert,
I'm sorry.
Robert is the closest to the protagonist because he's the only good person.
Maybe it's because, like, we just wanted someone positive to, like, latch onto.
That was the problem, like, finding someone who I actually wanted to root for in the movie. Because Robert's sweet, and he is innocent, but he's also really annoying.
I'm not finding my motivation.
Like, what? Do you not see that this play is crashing and burning right now?
Yeah. Everyone around you is doing their best, and your director is clearly, a control freak. So,
but you can see what the show is falling apart around him. He's breaking slowly inside and I was kind of rooting for the director until that sodomy song came out. Then I was just like, oh, I can see why Fletch really didn't want him to perform that.
He wouldn't have the nerve. Oh God, he's doing it.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, it's just a musical number. How bad can it be? And then sodomy, I was like, oh God, it can be bad. This is like, everybody wants to do a bit of sodomy. I was like, what?
Peter Jackson, you have money now. You could make this with an actual budget.
Or you could just forget it forever.
I think it could do fine.
Really?
Yeah. You can make a good movie out of anything.
Really?
Yes. Provided you're willing to, like, destroy it.
Have you seen the movie Rubber?
The Tire?
Yeah.
No, I still haven't seen that. I've actually heard pretty decent things.
Well, to be fair, I don't think anybody came to that movie with expectations. And I didn't come to Meet the Feebles with expectations.
Neither did I. I actually assumed this was a different movie.
Yeah. Alex was still like, I've watched this. Yeah, I watched this. And I was like, are you sure?
No, apparently not.
No. So I had to pause quite a few times. Like the first time I watched it. The thing is, when I watch movies by myself, I pause it a lot because I'm just like, all right, gonna get up, walk away, go be productive for a little bit, and then maybe come back and try to waste my brain cells again. But the problem is, I think, what was it? I can't remember which thing. Oh, I stopped watching this movie at like maybe 30 minutes in.
Oh, yeah.
I paused it. I did 2 pauses. And I was like, okay, that's it. I need to go do things. And then I was like, I'll get back to it. I'll watch it. And then I never did because I couldn't justify it. I think
you needed someone to share in the trauma, which is why she came over to watch it with me.
Yeah.
It's like, can you believe this shit?
Oh, it was the chicken elephant hybrid baby. That's when I was just like, all right, I need to go do something with my day.
Yeah, and all I could think was like, it's like, you deadbeat. You left me, knocked me up, and look, it's not my baby. And then the stage manager turns to him, and is like, it's got your eyes.
He's also got half of your body on his head. It's gross.
Yeah. I was like, and how did you not, like, vaporize the chicken on the first thrust?
Right? And apparently she's sleeping with half the cast.
Didn't sleep with me? Oh, I'm not saying you're a stand-up guy, Arthur. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and then there's pornos being shot in the basement, which we also never really go back to.
Thank God. And,
oh God, that was weird.
And then
it's between a cow and a cockroach or something.
Yeah. All I could think is, like, this is probably someone's sexual awakening. That's probably what makes me the most uncomfortable.
Ew.
Yeah.
This movie should not be anyone's sexual awakening for anything. Like, any awakening for anything except it'd be nice to murder people. Like, that's it. It's just like...
That's kind of that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
So the building... So, just racing to the finish here, because
this
honestly...
movie has barely any substance.
There's barely any substance, because there's so many small vignettes here and there. Like, probably one of the more... another one that kind of comes into it in leading up to the disaster is our Bugs Bunny parallel, essentially.
Harry the Hare.
And
which is a character in a novel or something, I believe. I looked it up. Yeah.
Who apparently contracts bunny AIDS, I'm assuming, because
it looks like bunny AIDS, but it's they really play that up. Like, his face is falling apart and he's like green, his eyes are like bloodshot, and he's like vomiting, and it's gross. And the fly is just like following around like, it's a scoop. And I was just like, I mean, he's a doctor.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. Like, the bunny, the fly is supposed to be the like the typical tabloid paparazzi kind of guy. But I'm just wondering, which Alex and I actually said this while watching the film, why hasn't anyone like killed him yet?
Yeah.
Like, so many smaller characters have died in this film. And yet the fly is still alive. No one swatted that thing out of the way, because he's clearly like constantly hanging around the cast trying to find like news and scoop and everything. What?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like death is like the sun rising every morning. It happens. And apparently there's also a puppet Vietnam, which we spend at least 5 to 8 minutes.
With some really racist Vietnamese people.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was. And I guess the comedy part was when they were, quote unquote, speaking Vietnamese. They were saying very educated things, but
the racist character is still a racist caricature.
Yeah, it's still a racist caricature. You can't make that good. Yeah. And even then,
do we only have this flashback so we could do a puppet reenactment of the Deer Hunter?
Yeah, that was it. And it's actually a reference to Deer Hunter. He just wanted to have that scene, but
yeah. Anyway, so
yeah, and there's also the bartender at the the speakeasy.
I have no idea what species it was supposed to be.
Me neither, because it had a tail, but it also had a very minstrel face. With really big lips. Yeah. And black skin and big eyes. And I was just like, wow, PJ, go on here. Yeah. There's other instances of it, and it's so weird because Bletch is a bad guy. Oh. We don't need, but like everything that he does in the movie establishes how horrible of a person he is, but it's just like, so in the beginning, the first time we see him, he's cheating on, I guess, his wife? Heidi? I don't know if she's the wife or not. So he's cheating on Heidi. Okay, cool. Already a bad guy.
Yeah.
Then he's buying drugs. All right, cool. Bad guy. Then he's, using side money to make a porno.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the porno part isn't the bad guy thing. It's the fact that he's like totally okay with getting the actors by questionable means.
Yeah.
That's the bad thing. And then he's making deals with drug dealers. Okay, cool. So he's not just doing drugs, he's also selling them, I guess. Mm-hmm. And
commits murder.
He commits murder. He kills a fish that wants to audition.
Regurgitates it later.
Yeah, regurgitates it later.
Half alive.
Man, it's gross. Oh, gosh. And then they show the scene of how he met Heidi, and she was 16 at the time.
Yeah.
He made out with her in the club.
Yeah.
And after she was singing, I was like, okay, why do we need so many things establishing that he's a bad guy? Yeah.
Jesus.
So, it's just like, okay, but I've said that before with other movies that we've watched. I don't particularly care for movies that say, this person's a bad person, and then they try to make the person worse and worse and worse. It's just like, we already know. Like, there's there's no going down. There's just, okay, this is a bad person. The same thing with the rat. First line in the movie, he's calling Heidi like a fat slag or
Yeah.
whatever. And when he's just bad throughout the movie, a horrible character that you're just like, okay, cool. So if you know what's going on in the movie, if you know what's going to happen in the movie, you're just like, yeah, he's going to die later. But that's it. That's the only thing you feel is just like when he gets killed, you're like, huh, yeah. Like that was both of us. When the rat died, we were just like, yeah.
It's about right. I expected to happen. I also expected the rabbit to die, and sure enough, he did, because Heidi decides to go on a rampage because Heidi's ready to end her life because
the man that she basically wasted most of her life with.
Yeah, it's going to replace her with the stage show and then just fire her. He only boinked her one more time to try to make sure she did the performance so he can get syndication so they could keep the show running. She's going to end her own life. She tries to hang herself. She falls through the floor.
Yeah, first of all, she tries to hang herself with pantyhose.
On a chandelier.
On a chandelier.
Those aren't troll
when
attached.
She's also like a hippo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even I was like, this plan isn't going to work. Like, logically.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah, Blesh has a gun closet.
Yeah.
For when he goes down to get the quality cocaine.
Yeah.
Because, okay, cool. You also have a gun closet too. It's just, is there anything that you have that makes you a good human being? The answer is no.
So she ends up, trying to take her own life. It's like the cat comes in. It's like, oh, don't let me stop you. And
yeah, which I wrote that in my notes. It's just like, it is not a good idea to.
It's not a handgun.
It's not a good idea to mess with somebody who's about to shoot themselves in the face. Like, she's just, you really shouldn't taunt people who are about to kill themselves, because, like, that's end of rope level. That's like, I'm ready to go out, and why not take other people kind of thing. But I was just like, she has a gun, like, and it's not a pistol.
No.
It's a semi.
Remember the end of Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger and the loading the belt loader?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically the same gun. I'm lost for the name right now.
Yeah. Is it a semi-automatic or?
That would I don't, for a gun that big, I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Yeah, massive.
What matters is it had way more bullets in it than she needed to kill herself.
Yeah.
She only needed one to kill herself, but she used all of them to kill the entire cast.
Pretty much.
Not the entire cast. There were 6.
A few of the cast survived, so...
Yeah, 6 of them.
Robert, the poodle.
Lucille.
Oh, Lucille's a poodle. The stage manager, the director, and...
The elephant guy? I don't know what his job is.
I forgot, yeah.
I think he's like the host.
He was one of the performers, I know that much.
But he didn't do anything?
Yeah, no, he's...
Even when they're like singing, he's just standing on the side of the stage, just swaying. But he also survives with his son, and he steps on the chicken that birthed him because she's already dying, and he's like, "No, my baby!" And he steps on her to get to the baby.
In fairness, her head flew off when it was shot. So.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, so yeah, we have puppet massacre at the last scene of it because Heidi became unhinged. The bunny is one of the earliest victims besides the cat that was going to replace her because, oh, dear Jesus, if he's praying to, the crucifix with the bunny Christ on it, as you do.
I didn't even notice that. The movie is kind of dark, like, and I don't mean like dark in humor. I mean actually dark, like filmed. I guess it's that way because, puppets and they were pretty cheap with it. But another reason why I couldn't figure out what the animals were is because I could barely see them.
Yeah. It wasn't. We did end up watching it on YouTube, so
yeah.
So I don't know if it was.
But even in the promos that I've seen online, it looks pretty dark.
Oh, it's just that muddy looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. After the massacre, we then get the basically after credits type scene.
Yeah, where they show the picture of the person in their successful life.
Where are they now?
Yeah, which I didn't really care.
No, I didn't either.
Like, even Robert and Lucille, after being like, oh, they're the good characters who I kind of want to care about. Because Lucille gets drugged by the rat.
Yeah.
Who's like, I'm going to use her in the porno. But I was just like, okay, well, I mean, if you're going to use her for pornos, like, this is a company. It's not just going to be a one-off thing. And also, he was going to drug her and then rape her.
Yeah.
But Robert came in and then got confused and thought she was drinking and then throwing herself at him.
Yeah.
Which I was like, what is that? Okay, cool. Also, he says, you've been drinking. She had like half a glass of champagne.
Yeah, and you've been gone for less than a scene turn. It's
Yeah.
like, no one gets that booze that quickly.
Exactly. And they're supposedly like the good ones, the good characters. So just be like, oh, you want them to get back together, and you just want this misunderstanding to be explained. But I didn't care.
No,
because there was so much going on. I didn't care.
There's so little real characterization. Like, the only one who probably has the most characterization, the two people with the most characterization are Bletch and Heidi.
And the frog, actually.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
The frog who we spent was it 5-minute Vietnam flashback for?
Yeah, that's...
It was so funny because Alex kept saying as we were watching it, wow, why are we spending this much time on a flashback? This flashback is so long.
It was like 5 to 7 minutes. Like,
he was so annoying.
So there's a puppet Nam, and it's like, all I can think is just like, death holds no meaning in this world.
Yeah, why do we care?
Why do we care enough to go fight... why did the puppets care enough to go fight communism?
Yeah.
Anyway. Or the perception of communism, I should say.
I guess. But, yeah, and Bletch is characterized, but he's characterized as such a horrible person that you're just like, okay, I don't care about him. I just want him to die in the movie. And then
Heidi is just prima donna.
Yeah, Heidi's prima donna, and it's just so annoying. She eats her feelings, which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with eating your feelings, but she eats the whole cake shop.
Yeah.
And then she's surprised when she breaks the swing on the set. Yeah. And she's like, it's not my fault. Yes, it is, because you weigh like 30 more pounds than you did this morning. So, yeah. I was like, I understand eating through your feelings. I've eaten through my feelings before. But, like, she ate a whole cake shop and then took the last remaining cake with her. And it got, and the cherry got, like, stuck in her boob. And I was like, that's gross. That's really gross. Like,
really gritty
food,
feeling.
Yeah, food, like, especially, like, cake gets stuck in the folds of your body. I was just like,
I wouldn't know. I haven't been that kinky, I guess.
Don't.
No.
Gross. Things I don't need to think about. That's on the list now.
Yeah. Final thoughts.
Oh, we're at final thoughts already?
What else could we cover?
Yeah, that's true. This is the shortest amount of notes that I've read. Final thoughts. It's not a bad watch. Okay.
It's a train wreck.
It's a train wreck, but it is kind of interesting. Like, it's a fun, like, I'll watch it once with my friends kind of thing. If you're gonna, like, get drunk or get high or something. Yeah. But, I don't know. It took me a while to get through it the first time, so.
I would liken this to, like, Joe's Apartment, except that Joe's Apartment is actually interesting. And I have friends who will hate me for liking Joe's Apartment, but I like Joe's Apartment. Where it's a train wreck. Oh, God, yes, it's a train wreck. Mm-hmm. But it at least has a sense of narrative structuring, and I can feel invested in the main characters. Whereas this, it's like, I don't really care about anybody.
Yeah, I feel.
So once it ended, it ended. If someone wants to put something on as kind of a lark and it's a party going on, and I happen to see it on Netflix, God help us if it's on Netflix, then sure, why not?
Yeah, it's a fun background movie if you're at like a party or something and you're not actively watching it.
I'll just play Holy Mountain in that case because I want to rather people trip out or something. Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a break and we'll be back with Bad Taste.
And we're back.
Welcome back.
This time, Bad Taste, 1987, so 2 years before Meet the Feebles. I guess we're going in order in terms of, I think I said it earlier, but narrative structuring, where there's a clear beginning, middle, and,
End?
There is an end to this.
Okay.
It's a proper end for it.
Yeah, this one actually has
it's funny as shit.
Kind of proper storyline. The beginning starts out weird.
Very meandering.
Yeah. It's because it's supposed to be, I guess, that we're starting in the middle of the action. Oh, wait, no. Actually, the beginning of the movie is the phone call
Oh yeah.
from the village. And uh, they're like, it's being recorded by this guy who's shrouded in darkness, who doesn't seem to have fingers. He has like wooden fingers that are attached
Oh
to his.
yeah.
It's not really explained or.
It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute, but it seems really odd because that's the only time
Yeah.
that character is in. And he's also like, oh, I gotta call the boys. And we think they're gonna be like these cool guys, and it just turns out to be 4 idiots.
Yeah.
Like
I do like that the phone literally has a speed dial that says "the boys" on it.
and right below mom. Right below mom.
There may have been a bit of a disconnect for both of us because there were parts of it we were watching where like, is this just New Zealand humor that we're missing
Yeah.
on some
I
parts?
had to look it up because I was just like, maybe this is New Zealand humor because we're not finding these jokes that funny.
I'm familiar with a few Australian terms. I know New Zealanders aren't Australian. Yes, 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 I know. But there's definitely a lot of crossover in terms of like jokes, and some of those were definitely there.
Sheep jokes.
A lot of fucking sheep jokes.
A lot of sheep jokes. But apparently that's in the New Zealand humor wiki, is their emphasis on sheep jokes. And making fun of their accents and stuff.
I think sheep outnumber humans on New Zealand, if I recall.
That's fair. Yeah, but also a lot of it was I couldn't really understand what they were saying, which I mean that sounds bad, but it's true. And I'm pretty good at picking words out of accents, but maybe it was also maybe the way the sound was recorded too. I couldn't hear half of the lines, so I was like, oh,
It's always a
that was
downside.
probably funny. But we did remember our favorite joke. I'm a Derek. Derek's don't run. What? He's like, Derek's my new favorite character now.
Yeah, he does like fight off 5 of the aliens, i.e., dudes in blue jeans and blue workman's shirts. One of which is Peter Jackson, who plays a pretty consistent role throughout the film before he eats shit and dies.
Yeah.
Which I think is supposed to be, I don't want to say gimmick, but it seems to be a trend in that he dies in films he's in. At least that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because he dies in this and he does die in, was it Return of the King when he shows up?
Mm-hmm. He likes dying in his movies. Nothing wrong with that.
No, that's fair. I mean, I like that adage, or I like that conceit.
It's the same thing. It's just like Stanley likes to play the bumbling idiot in the Marvel movies. It's his thing. He likes it.
Charming man.
Yeah, he's an adorable man.
Yes. God, don't leave
Peter
us.
Jackson, though, not that adorable. We thought it was going to be a cameo, but then he's like, nope. Oh, he's sticking in this movie.
Yeah.
He is acting his ass off.
And unlike Kevin Smith, where actually no, I guess it is the same vein of Kevin Smith, where it's just like doesn't speak.
Yeah, he doesn't speak. He just like groans and like not half the like a couple of the aliens can speak words, but the rest are just like groaning. So here's the thing: when we first watched it, because I didn't read the description before I watched it, because I was like, okay, going in this knowing nothing, I didn't know they were aliens. I thought they were zombies with the way they were walking around, because they were like the shuffling towards.
Yeah, our first alien is literally shuffling, and our main character is that all the shots and angles are meant to indicate some sort of chase scene, but this alien,
there's no chase.
Yeah.
They're like
it's a brisk
they're basically walking.
It's a brisk fucking pace.
And he's like,
if not
yo,
slower.
man, don't. He's like, yo, man, you don't want to do this. Like, turn away. Like, don't. He's like, don't do this. Don't come at me. Oh, you're gonna regret it. And I'm like, are you teasing him, or is this actually a chase? We didn't know. And also, this Derek is talking to him through a walkie-talkie as if he can see everything that's going on. But we haven't seen Derek yet, so it just seems like it's like a weird voice in the sky for a minute. I don't know. It's the way the characters are introduced. It's very abrupt and odd. But I found it funny.
Yeah.
Like their little. It's like Derek is immediately characterized as like a cheeky.
Oh yeah.
Like cheeky, kind of nerdy guy, but has this really like dark side to him because he gets a lot of pleasure out of killing these aliens.
Like trying to get one to talk, and he takes this what I'm pretty sure is a bayonet and starts hammering it into the heel of the one they have captured, which is Peter
and it's
Jackson.
Screaming, and he's like, ah! Like it's screaming bloody murder, and he's just like, oh yeah, keep moaning, and I was like, do you not hear that? That screeching, like haunting noise? Is it only the aliens that can hear that? And he's just like making fun of it. There's other aliens on the island. You know that because your friend's being chased by them.
And then because they hear it's whales, they come after him, and of course Derek has like an Uzi and just fights them off.
Yeah, but he very much like fumbles into fighting them.
Yeah.
The fight's mostly luck. It's not any kind of skill. It's more like, oh, he happened to move out of the way a half a second early or something like that. But it's never like a purposeful dodge. It's a very clumsy fight.
Well, he shoots one, it falls onto him. He happens to blow enough of a hole in the alien.
He pushes the gun through him. Like, I wrote in my notes, I was like, oh, this is going to be a gross one. Which, I mean, I knew, because they blew the other alien's head off. Which is why I thought they were zombies. Because when the guy got his, like, head blown off, I was like, oh, okay, they're zombies. But then the guy was like, aliens! I was like, oh, okay, aliens, cool. All right.
Also, with what happens with Derek, I mean, with the plot synopsis, yeah, aliens. But without that, like, if I had never heard that, I would have assumed some sort of zombie thing.
Yeah.
Because everyone looks like a dude. Everyone's just budget. I mean, I understand.
There's a couple girls.
Oh, that's true. But everyone looks like a dude for the most, or dude and gal in just blue.
Yeah, they're normal clothes.
Normal clothes. The uniform of the aliens is apparently blue jeans and a blue workman's shirt, long sleeve. So I'd assume zombie after our Derek's tumble when we come back to him later on after the chase scene.
Yeah, there's no explanation whatsoever about the survival of Derek.
When we cut back to him eventually, his apparently a chunk of brain the mannequin falls down.
Yeah, the mannequin falls. Yeah. The mannequin switches are very obvious, but I guess that's...
I appreciate it.
Like, that's a lend to the humor of it.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually really funny. The aliens got thrown across. Like, the mannequins got thrown across, because you're just like, wow.
Yeah. I was never bored with it. Like,
yeah.
I was engaged. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were parts where like, that's gross, but that's funny. More often than not.
We made the mistake of ordering pizza right before we watched this movie. And,
I got to enjoy more pizza.
Yeah, he got to eat more because I had to stop eating halfway through. I couldn't. And, like, it's not super hard to gross me out, but I'll never, like, stop eating. Like, that's just a testament to how gross this is, that I was just like, okay, food is not an option anymore. Yeah. I can't eat anymore. Yeah. And it's, like, right after the movie, he's like, you gonna eat that last piece of pizza? Really? Am I gonna, after I was just like...
Oh, I didn't hear the sounds.
I was like, it wasn't like...
So I would have grabbed the trash can if I'd heard them.
Oh, no. I wasn't actually going to throw up, but I was like... It's like, you know how your senses with someone throwing up. So you don't have to see throw up to feel like throwing up.
Yeah.
You just have to either hear it or, like, smell it or something.
The bile smell.
Yeah. But, like, for me, it's just, like, hearing that sound is also kind of a trigger for me. Yeah. Not enough to, like, actually make me throw up, but, like, enough to make me feel unsettled. So, and all of the sounds were exaggerated. Like, all of the splurts and the gushes and it was so much. My heart couldn't take it.
Someone pounding into a cantaloupe that's overripe.
Yeah. So Derek is immortal, basically. His brain falls out. Seagulls are on that shit, by the way. They are immediately on that shit the minute he dies.
Dusts off the piece of brain.
Yeah, he dusted off the piece of brain and then put it back in his head. And then put a hat on to keep the skull and the skin close together. And that's like it's supposed to be like a funny, because he's like bumbling around trying to keep his head together, but it's just gross.
I assumed that we were done with him too after the hat, because like he basically, after he puts the hat back on and loads the brain piece back in or whatever, he's like, everything seems right. And then I guess his brain resets, so he like falls over and passes out. And we leave him for at least a good 10, 15 minutes before we come back.
We're like, okay, that's the end of Derek. But nope, that is not the end of Derek.
Yep. hat doesn't do well, I guess, or something, and then he ends up wearing a belt.
Belt, yeah, he uses a belt to tie it on his head. Because even the aliens are like gross when his brain. Because at some point he takes a piece of an alien's brain and puts that in.
Oh yes.
Or he takes something and puts it in the place where his the brain chunks fell out, and the other aliens are looking at him like, that's gross. It's just like, yep, you are gross. But he doesn't go down. He's immortal. See, Derek's don't run because they can't die.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why they don't run.
So yeah, I guess I'll be Derek next Halloween. So we haven't even touched the main plot for it, but
yeah.
so I mean we mentioned the aliens, but so the aliens, the reason they're here in bumfuck New Zealand, is because humans are the newest craze.
Yeah, they run a fast food chain,
and they want humans to be a new craze. Like they're just trying to box them up, and in fact they do.
Yeah.
They box up the entire town, which was, 75 people, they said?
Yeah, they said it was a really, really small town.
Yeah, it was less than 100. But yeah, they cut to so they're trying to the boys infiltrate the house where the aliens...
Where all the aliens are staying. It's also the same house that's in Dead Alive. But,
yes. And it's like, oh yes, we packaged the entire town in cardboard boxes.
It's like, that must have been a really small town.
Yeah,
but it's New Zealand, so yeah. Definitely.
So there's a broom. It's like, oh, is this what happened to the town? It's like, yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah, the cardboard boxes are very bloody.
Yeah.
I don't know what you expected to be in those. Also, another, this movie is filled with lines that I was just like, I'll remember this forever. So they get into the house, in the kitchen, where all the blood is, and because they packaged the human bodies. And one of the guys starts mopping it up.
It's like, oh man, just clean that.
Yeah, and they get blood on the floor because one of the guys comes in with a bowl. I don't know what he's planning to do with it, but he comes in with a bowl, and so they kill him, and they get blood all over the floor. He's like, oh, I just cleaned that up.
It's like, I'm gonna wear this disguise and go in. Oh, here was carrying this, because we then find out what the bowl is going to be used for.
Yeah.
So they
that was the moment where I stopped eating.
So Peter Jackson regurgitates whatever humans I guess he's eaten, and that's where they're going to do it as a broth. So it's a human stew that was gestating in Peter Jackson's zombie-ish alien character.
But before that, he slit his throat for some reason.
I think he was trying to seem threatening to the door-to-door salesman or bill collector or whatever.
The collector.
That we
only know that he's a collector. I don't know what that means in New Zealand speak, but yeah.
Tax collector. I don't know.
I guess, but he the money was on the doors.
I don't know.
It's weird.
I didn't delve too much into it.
It's like, if you're listening to this and you're from New Zealand, please educate us. We don't know what half the stuff is. But yeah, we didn't even talk about the collector.
Well, I mean, he doesn't spend too much time being too relevant.
He's not relevant in the movie at all. It's just to create tension.
Yeah.
It's to give them a reason not to blow that town up, I guess.
Yeah. He is in the basement because they were going to turn him into stew, where he is marinating. After all.
Yeah. I guess that's Creed to the fast food chain thing. It's like they're marinating it instead of just eating it raw.
Yeah.
So, whatever. It was a reason to have the guys come into the house and instead of, blow it apart. But yeah, so one of the character who was disguised as the alien, which instead of just putting on the shirt and pants, he puts on the body.
No, he puts on the shirt.
Yeah, but it's because
he's wearing body armor.
Oh, he's wearing body armor. I was like, maybe it was one of those moments where I looked down because I couldn't take it.
I understand.
But she just looked, and it was just like, what are you wearing underneath the shirt and pants? You don't look like a normal person. Yeah, and then of course exposition happens.
Yeah, so we get all our plot motivations for the aliens, which is like, yes, we will start selling this across the galaxy.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh, humans are so easy to beat. I was like, you beat a town of 75 people in New Zealand. That's cute that you think that you're not going to have any problems with the rest of the world. Because humans are so ripe for the picking. We can come back and get more. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Wait till you encounter a superpower.
I was just
no offense, New Zealand.
Yeah. Yeah, no offense, but that town was really small, and it was in New Zealand, which is far away from most other civilizations. So
I mean, they could take over the entire United States Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, but really, could they though?
And come on, this place is in Appalachia. Nobody wants to go to.
Okay, that's true. But they'd have to go to a place where there's not like where there's enough people that they can use for food, but like not too many people who are trigger happy.
So I don't know. You can probably just go to Wyoming.
Yeah.
Like,
are there trigger happy people in Wyoming?
It's the United States.
Yeah, there's trigger happy people everywhere.
It's like it's the U.S. But the reason I mentioned Wyoming is because not for shitting on Wyoming, but it's a very, 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 very tiny population, comparative to its size.
Yeah.
So it's like less than 1 million.
Really? There's less than 1 million people in Wyoming?
I could spell Wyoming. Not really.
Okay, so there are less than 600,000 people in Wyoming.
Yep.
Wow. That's small.
Yeah.
That's
For a
so
state
small.
that large, yeah. So that means that population is spread out.
Okay. All right. Well, the aliens might be okay with going to Wyoming, but don't go anywhere else though.
Right. Hawaii could be right for the picking, also.
Oh yeah, Hawaii's pretty chill.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So the exposition happens, and then they pass around the vomit and start eating it. And yep, that's the moment. I was like, no more food for the rest of the night for me.
It just looks like a Jello pudding.
It's the sounds. It's not what it looks like. It's the sounds.
Maybe it's because I've heard worse in my life. That doesn't bother me.
I'm a very sheltered person, I guess.
You are not a sheltered person. I don't know what the fuck you're on about. Anyway.
But yeah, so one of the guys has to eat the vomit in order to
blend in.
Yeah.
Because the bowl's getting passed around.
Maintain his cover. But
he doesn't have to eat it. He just makes sure to put it to his lips at least.
Yeah, but he actually ate it. And he kind of enjoyed it.
I think he was trying to give the semblance that he was trying to get more.
Oh.
So it's like he took a small amount, then he's like, that probably won't work. I need to make it seem like I need more. So it's like he tilts it higher, and then they're like, no, give it here.
Oh, okay.
That's what I grabbed from it.
That's what he wants to happen, but I think he actually enjoyed it.
Okay. So after we get our collector rescued from the basement, they're sneaking around the place.
Till morning.
Honestly, God help us if we could even fucking tell, because
No, it was nighttime, because they were saying good night, good night, good night, like the Brady Bunch kind of good night thing. And I was like, okay, cool. Best. And then they find the collector, and I was like, okay, they're gonna go sneak out and then come back in the morning and shoot. No, they just stayed in the house till morning time.
Yeah, because
all they had to do to explain that was show them sneaking out, getting guns, coming back in. That's it. Instead of being like, we're just gonna wait till morning to leave, when everyone's awake and guarding the place. What?
Yeah, but then we can't have our deadly shootout at night because everything's already muddy enough as it is in the house.
Yeah, but they could have left. They still could have left to go get stuff and then come back. That was such a weird decision to make.
And why you wouldn't burn the place down in the middle of the night after rescuing the dude?
Yeah, you could have at least taken the stupid ones.
Yeah,
like you wouldn't have gotten everybody.
We do establish a bazooka later on.
Yeah, and they were alluding to that as if we didn't know what was in that box. We've seen enough movies. We know what's in a box where he's like, we don't need that yet. It's a bazooka.
Yeah.
It's definitely a bazooka.
I mean, if they had gone like full napalm or something and be like, okay, I wasn't expecting that necessarily, but
he also drops the bazooka.
Of course.
With the thing. Like, the whole dropping guns thing happens quite a bit, or just like leaving them for no reason. We're just gonna throw that away so we can go fight with our fists. And an axe.
We do have that once. But then it gets shot anyway. We do get a pretty awesome, if not super long, gunfight, because it basically takes up the last 40 minutes of the film.
Yeah. It's really drawn out. Yeah. And it's kind of boring after a while. Because it's just like, there weren't that many aliens in the house.
Yeah.
But, okay, cool. And we finally see the aliens' true forms, which it's not really a secret, because it's on the cover. It's on the box cover of the movie, so I don't know why there was like, oh, it's the reveal. We don't need that.
Yeah, like you gave it away on the box,
and it's gross, and doesn't look that good.
No, I think the problem is the fact that you can see the human eyes under it. I like the idea of like these black dark pits, but the fact that you can see the human eye in them is what ruins it. Because like I don't mind humanoid aliens; it doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is like when you lose out on the parts that like, oh, that is human right there.
Yeah.
And it was the human eyes tucked into the recess. Like, I would have been more appreciative of it if you couldn't see the human eye at all. The design is pretty silly, don't get me wrong, because they have, like, ass shields. I don't know what the hell they are.
Yeah, their design is really weird. I mean, it's comical.
Oh, yeah.
But...
And for a movie that is mostly camp comedy, that it's like, I'm cool with that, so...
But it's... yeah, the costumes aren't... What?
Guess who's back? Derek.
Oh, Derek's back, yeah. Derek's back and he's on a killing spree. And he doesn't seem to be able to distinguish foe from friend. But doesn't matter. Because he kills mostly. He comes back with a chainsaw and cuts a hole. You know how they do that perfect human-sized hole? I was like...
With the shape of the chainsaw.
Yeah. With the shape of the chainsaw in it. And I was just like, that's cute. That's funny. And I know we said we probably wouldn't do comedy movies just because a lot of the things can be explained by, because it's funny. But this was... I don't know. I liked Derek. Derek was the saving grace in the movie. He was hilarious for the whole thing. Even though I thought he was such a jerk in the beginning. Just the fact that he kept coming back every time.
Determined.
Yes, determined to... He's like, I'm gonna kill you, bastards! He's very, very into killing aliens. Like, I have a feeling this is kind of his first alien, and he's super excited about killing them.
Hey.
What?
Derek's don't run.
Oh yeah, Derek's don't run. They don't die either.
No shit.
But it was just really funny because the alien, like, after the fast food chain guys, because I guess, yeah, they're workers.
Pretty much
all of the workers are dead, and then the head alien is just...
Fuck this.
He's like, fuck this, I'm out. But then he's just like, we're gonna come back. It's like, no, you're not. Like, you're really not gonna come back.
Yeah. Derek had gotten knocked out in the spaceship, which, of course, is the house for budgetary reasons. And awakens, and he had happened to have a chainsaw with him at the time, and the corporate guy is like, I heard something, and goes around to investigate, and of course, Derek, having cut a hole in the ceiling, drops down, swan dives into the guy with the chainsaw blade first into him and cuts and bisects him, like cuts him in half.
Yeah, and then he puts on the alien skin, so I guess he can use that as a shitty disguise
when he tries to go to the alien homeworld. I guess. I don't know.
You're already gonna get there. Like, you don't need to wear a disguise. Like, also, and a really bad one at that. I think it was just like, we just need to put a little bit more grossness in the end of this movie, just to seal things up real nicely. It's just nice little morsel for you guys. It was so gross. What have I done with my life?
So it definitely drags in the beginning, and some of the shots.
In the end.
And yeah, in the end too. Mainly because that fight just goes on for long, and it's not engaging enough to really
it's
hold your
another
attention.
bumbling fight.
Yeah.
It's another, like, we're bumbling into...
It's slapsticky?
Yeah, it's a very like, slapsticky, like, oh, it's tripping into things and slightly dodging out of the way. And it's just... it's not fun to watch, really, that much.
Yeah. I was just like, man, this fight's still going on? That's like, but it eventually finishes. So there's definitely some pacing issues with it. Some of the shots definitely draw more emphasis than they need to on certain things.
Was this another accidental feature film? Let me look it up.
That's what it feels like.
Oh, all the movies are accidental feature
I think
films.
this one was barely an hour 30 as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but so final thoughts?
It's actually, this is one of the films I would not mind watching again. Like, maybe not sit down and watch again, one of those background films as well, but like, if I was actually going to sit down, it's like, you guys got to see this film just so you can watch it. Like, I would actually try and watch it again, seriously. Like, it's endearingly dumb. In a good way.
Yeah. I've like, out of them, I found this one to be the funniest, just because of Derek, really. But yeah, I aside from the parts that, like, made me feel slightly queasy, I enjoyed it. From, like I said, I would watch it again. if it was like, oh, my friend, it's like I want my friends to watch this with me. This is something.
Like, you haven't seen this? It's like one of Peter Jackson's first film, or it's Peter Jackson's first major film. It's like,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, you haven't seen this? Yeah, so it's like I would definitely get people to sit down and watch this, and I would legit be willing to sit down and watch this again. Compared to Meet the Feebles, where it's like if it's on in the background, I'd only subject other people to it so that we'd never have to watch it a second time.
True.
And I would not be in the room. It's like, you should watch this. Where are you going? Because I have better shit to do with my time.
All right, so that's all for Bad Taste.
Yeah,
right. And we're gonna take a break, and we'll see you guys again over for Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. And we're back with Brain Dead, as its originally released name, and unless you're in the North American region, Dead Alive. 1992.
Yay! Alright.
Proper zombie film.
Yeah. But these are the resilient zombies.
Yeah, and whose organs apparently also gain sentience.
Yeah.
Which will
that was weird.
Yeah. And still have functioning reproductive parts.
And they emote.
Mm-hmm.
So like he looked at himself in the mirror and was just like, this is me. I'm now sentient. What the fuck?
Yeah. This is me now.
This is me. This is my life now. I am, what was he, the lungs? And spleen? And intestines, I believe.
All of which somehow managed to hold themselves together and do things.
Yeah. Climb things and choke people. Yeah. And I was like, how is he going to bite? Okay.
So we open with them getting the rat monkey, which is our Sumatran rat monkey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, which just looks like a rat puppet.
And for those of you, of course, remember Lord of the Rings, you will remember the this location shot from Lord of the Rings that was used in Return of the King.
It's also in King Kong.
Oh,
yeah. Skull Island.
I have not seen King Kong in a while.
Yeah. It's Skull Island is where they get it from. And I was just like, this is a real place. No, it's just in King Kong. That's how I know it. Yeah. Oh well. But they get the monkey, and then the Aboriginals try to kill them and say, you can't take it, you can't take it. And there's always just like the translator that's with them. And I always wonder, like, do you feel like a traitor to your people?
Oh, I mean, they still sell the monkey.
Yeah, they still sell the monkey, which I find to be very odd.
It's like, it's dangerous, you're willing to... So, the scientist there ends up getting killed by his guides because he's bitten and scratched by the rat monkey.
Yeah. And they see the bite on his hand, so they cut off the hand. And they see the bite on the arm, they cut off the arm. Then they see a scratch on his head, and they're just like, "Oh fuck it, we'll just cut off his head."
Yeah. But they're still selling the goddamn
and they still sell it, and they're happy when they sell it too, because they get the money and like do a little jig.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "Wow, that's something we got."
Well, it's not going to be here, so.
Yeah, I guess they're just like, "Oh, it's not going to be here."
Your problem now.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. It's just like, I feel like if there's something where if it bites a person, you have to just straight out kill that person. Maybe you should
It's very resilient.
Maybe you should just kill that thing.
Yeah.
But it might be unkillable.
Yeah, they're pretty resilient corpses outside of liquefaction.
Basically, yeah, that's basically what they had to do in the movie. Yeah, so
we then come to Bakita,
who
owns a pharmacy or works at a pharmacy.
It's not a pharmacy. It's a convenience store-ish kind of thing. Yeah. It's like old school convenience store where it's like we have literally everything of convenience.
Yeah.
It's really weird because Bakita likes is he a milk guy?
I guess.
Or something?
I don't know.
It's weird. She takes off her like coat and shows like she's wearing a cute dress, and the milk guy is just like, oh hey, nice dress, and like walks out.
No, but the little part of her
the little part slips over, and he kind of like blinks at it, and she's
like puts it back on her shoulder.
You're trying to, and that's when he's just like, oh, you're trying to flirt with me. Oh, okay. So then she gets her
I need to know if he's the one.
Yeah, she gets a tarot reading.
0 to Bruja, and Nothing flat.
She gets a tarot reading from her grandmother. I guess that's her grandmother.
Yeah.
And
I assume as much.
Who's just like, you'll find the one soon. So then, of course, she's just like, I will, like, and then flips the switch. Like, and she's just like, I'll find my love. I'll find my love. And it's just like, wow, Paquita, you have no substance whatsoever. Because then the main character comes into the story and she looks super annoyed with him. She doesn't like him at all. When he comes in, she's just like, ugh, and like rolling her eyes at everything he does. And then she sees the symbol, the sign that her grandmother told her that she would see. And it's like a switch is flipped in her mind and she's immediately in love with him. And it's like, oh, what? Okay, I got whiplash from as quick as you turn the table. I don't like Paquita at all because of
she's pretty capable by the end of the film.
She's capable by the end, but I'm just annoyed with her the whole movie because she's that like blinded by love, so oblivious to like.
It is a painfully saccharine love that happens.
Painful indeed, but
and she ends up being the pursuer, which I'm kind of happy for because it's like you're so used to seeing guys being like very aggressive.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it's nice that she's the pursuer, but she's a pursuer for all the wrong reasons. Like she's the pursuer because she saw it in her grandmother's tarot cards.
Yeah,
it's not really saying much.
That's like. Oh, so the guy she ends up falling for is a gentleman by the name of Lionel.
Yeah,
who is our one of our main protagonists essentially, and Mama's boy supreme.
Yeah, it's like Mama's boy. She's like his mother is like a manipulative bitch, and like has psychologically like just made like stuck his head to her teat, and now he's there forever. Like he can't go anywhere because she holds his head down, and it's not that he's like super weak. Because obviously we see in the movie he has moments where he's like toughen up and stuff. It's that she's so overpowering as a mother. And I was just like, wow, I hate these kinds of mothers. But later on you see she's not just like narcissistic and, controlling. She's actually a psychopath.
Oh yeah.
So
we'll reveal that later.
Yeah. So the mother is like, once again, we have the same house from Bad Taste.
Yeah, it's like
just
hey,
decorated slightly different.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because it's like, oh hey, we know the layout of this house too.
Yeah. So this is like the WWLWL. Or something.
Some organization that
it's a ladies' tea party organization basically.
Yeah. Is coming to visit.
Because she got selected to be the
chapter, regional, something.
But the lady's gonna come over. So the mother's just like, oh, this place must be cleaned, and you must never forget about your mother, blah blah blah. Yeah. And
he has a date.
Yeah, he has a date.
Yeah, Paquita. Paquita ends up pursuing him. It's like, hey, basically coaxes him into taking her out.
Yeah.
They go to the zoo.
But he was ripe for the pickings. I mean, I feel like he would have gone with any girl that winked at him.
That's true. You got a stage 4 clinger.
Yeah, he's like, so the fact that Paquita was just like, oh, I like you. He's like, really? Me? I must love you forever. It's like,
pretty much. It's
really no substance in this relationship.
Yeah.
And they're like, they're going to be together forever. Probably because he doesn't seem like the type who would leave you.
Or has ever dated.
Or has ever dated anyone. It's just like, if anybody's going to leave, it's going to be you. When you get tired of him.
Yeah.
It's not going to be him. But, I mean, he does leave, but it's not because he doesn't like her. It's because he's hiding the dead bodies. So the mother follows them on their date. And, okay, my biggest question in this movie, that thing, the rat monkey, looks disgusting, is super aggressive, and has a disease.
Yeah.
And you put it on display in a zoo?
Yeah.
I was like, that's not how zoos work.
Yeah. It clearly is capable of killing other animals within the enclosure.
Yeah, it kills a monkey. Well, because they keep it isolated, but it still kills another monkey through the fence.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't have been the first time it had done that.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure it attacked a couple things before they managed to get it into the cage. Like somebody had to open that cage at one point. So
Mom gets infected.
Yeah, Mom gets infected because she's spying on them, and she's like right next to where the monkey is.
Yeah. Well, she something startles her or something, and she falls back into the cage.
Yeah.
Gets bitten, kills the monkey.
Like, brutally. She steps on it.
Yeah. Eyes pop out, all that jazz.
Yeah.
And then we spend the next day, essentially, realizing that she's, like, sick because like a doctor comes over, wraps her wounds.
Which, another thing, if you get bitten by an animal, shouldn't, maybe, I don't know, a rabies shot?
Yeah, we knew about rabies. I'm pretty sure we knew about rabies then.
Yeah. Like, even though the movie is dated back, like, it's, rabies is still a thing. Like, you should still be worried if a wild animal bites you.
It's like, no, we'll just check on her. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's like infection or anything. Like, this animal, like, you guys just got this from like, wherever, the jungle. Like, it clearly hasn't had any shots or anything like that. Hasn't been taken care of medically at all. And yeah, it's just biting people. And then the guy who's the zookeeper, he's like, oh, this is a wild one. Like, what? That's it? That's all you're gonna say? Okay, cool. It just killed another monkey right in front of you guys. It's a wild one. It's a cross between a rat and a monkey.
It's a liability in terms of needing to keep these animals safe.
Yeah, this is a lawsuit waiting to happen, basically.
Bakita comes over later that night, and I assume they bone.
You really think he had the balls to bone her?
Oh, okay. I assume she put on a strap on and boned him. I don't know.
I don't know, but
he's in a better mood tomorrow when he wakes up his mother and finds that she has progressed far worse.
And she eats the dog.
Oh yeah, Bakita comes over in the morning. Also.
Yeah, and we see the dog in one scene, and then the next scene, the dog's just
gone,
eaten,
eviscerated. It's like he's pulling the dog out of his mother's mouth.
Yeah, it's really gross. And then they decide to, because the ladies from the WL come over, and her face is peeling off.
Literally, glue piece back on.
Yeah, and then they put makeup over it, and it's
clear she's falling apart. She sounds like she's been eating cigarettes.
Yeah, and she sounds like she's gonna throw up any second.
Her ear falls off,
and she eats it. She like spits.
No, the blood squirts out of her arm.
The blood, but she aims. She like aims for the soup.
I don't think she aims.
It squirts, and she like pushes her arm over and like smiles. And the lady from the WL lady just like looks at it, and it's just like, ugh, like doesn't say anything. She just like puts the napkin to her mouth. But it's like, your husband's eating this woman's blood.
Yeah.
And we don't see what happens to him, actually.
We see him later on when she's being buried. So.
No, that's the.
No, it was him because he said it's like, oh yeah, I just had dinner with him last Friday.
Oh yeah.
So he was there. So apparently ingesting the blood of somebody who's infected with this shit.
Yeah, it doesn't make you a zombie.
Got to go into the bloodstream.
Yeah, but so it's just like she's literally falling apart at the dinner, and then they finally get the couple out. But yeah, so mom is just gross, falling apart. So they have a nurse come over because something happens to the mom, and Paquita's like, we should call the nurse, call the doctor. So they call the nurse. The mom bites the nurse,
mm-hmm.
and the nurse changes like very quickly. And I'm just like, what's the timing to this thing? Okay, because that guy actually ate the blood, and maybe because it's ingested, it's not hurting. But it took the mom a day for her to start happening. But the nurse is just like an hour.
Yeah.
And she's turned completely. And I think it's like her head is...
I can't remember what happens, but like she basically becomes a human Pez dispenser.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And
he decides to put them both in the basement.
Yeah.
In the meantime. And he tries to go about his daily life by getting tranquilizers to...
Yeah, his great plan is to just constantly tranquilize them and keep them sedated instead of, I don't know, kill them, maybe?
Yeah. Find a way to do so.
It's like, I understand why you're keeping mom alive, because it's mom.
Plus 5 mama's boy.
Yeah, but you're not attached to anybody else. You don't have to keep anybody else alive.
Yeah. So he's trying to sneak this tranquilizer back, runs into Bakita again. It's like, oh yeah, she's still in the hospital for another day, and then mom, of course, wants a baby boy, and gets hit by a car trying to find Lionel. It's like, oh, I guess she got discharged early.
Yeah, he's like avoiding her. Is he avoiding her?
He did. Well, he's
not avoiding her at this point.
Yeah, he thought she was locked up still.
Yeah, he's not avoiding the mom, the girl. He's not avoiding Paquita quite yet.
Not fully.
Yeah, but then mom breaks out and gets hit by a trolley, and they have a funeral because he can't hide the fact that anymore. So he's trying to sneak into the funeral to tranquilize her so she doesn't wake up during the funeral.
Yeah.
But they show her being embalmed, but it's like
they screw up and
it makes her eyes like pop out, and she's like filled with embalming fluid. And I was just like, once again, it's just like Peter Jackson loves his invincible characters, and so he's obviously the mom breaks out of the coffin, and he's trying to tranquilize her, and he ends up in a fight and falling out of the window. So yeah, after, of course, he's seen as a weirdo and a freak. Mm-hmm. And then we're introduced to the scummy uncle, mm-hmm. who's the...
We're going to bypass the priest?
Hmm?
We have
we haven't gotten to him yet.
We have our late night... you're right.
No, we haven't gotten there yet. This is the introduction of the scummy uncle, who's just wants the money in the house from the mom. But it's her house, but he's the dad's brother. So that's why he's never really around.
Oh, okay.
He's the dad's brother. Because he talks about, oh yeah, your father, he got all the girls. We used to be on. So I figured he's the dad's
that makes brother. More sense.
Yeah, I can't imagine him being related to that woman.
Yeah, that's fair.
But they're both scummy anyway. But yeah, so they have a funeral, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go and tranquilize her while she's in her coffin.
Yeah.
Of course, nothing happens how he plans it. Yeah. It looks like he's trying to
dig up a body,
dig up a grave, and then
some pompadour punks come over, and it's like, oh, it's your mother's grave, and one starts to piss on it, and of course she comes back
and like rips his balls off,
and then infects the other four. The priest is alarmed, and we get one of our greatest lines ever, which is, "I kick ass for the Lord."
Yeah, the priest knows kung fu.
It's actually pretty fun. Like
it is.
It's not Jackie Chan level filming, but
it's one of the most enjoyable scenes in the movie. And he is kicking ass too.
Oh yeah.
And it just sucks because then he gets bitten.
He beeps it.
And you're like, no.
Then he comes back later because he's dead, and it's one of the corpses he decides to keep around. One of the two.
Yeah, so he keeps
one of the punks.
One of the punks, the priest, the nurse, and the mom. And then he's completely avoiding Paquita at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think it's maybe weeks later, because the way she seems to... I've been coming over day after day. You've been ignoring my calls.
I assume many months pass, too, because we have our zombie baby.
Yeah. So he's kind of domesticated the zombies to the point which I guess they're just so tranquilized that they don't attack him anymore.
Yeah.
So he's like feeding them pudding, I guess. It's
with tranquilizer in it.
Yeah, with tranquilizer in it to get them docile. And then the priest and the nurse start banging each other right on the table. That's when the uncle comes over. So yeah, the uncle comes over again to, try to strong arm the son.
Do you find your dad's stag films?
Yeah, that's what he says. It's my dad's stag films. And then he says...
That's the one with the donkey in it?
Yeah, the donkey and the chambermaid. And you're just like, what the fuck? What was your dad looking at to get off? So yeah, because he hears the bang, and they're going at it.
Yeah.
And then he tries to pull them apart, and they're actually eating each other's face.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then there's a zombie baby, and now we have a zombie baby,
which he decides to take out for a regular everyday. Why would you do this thing?
Yeah, and by this time he looks like a wreck. Like, you don't look like a person who, if you were pushing around a baby, people would be like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Morrissey looks like, did he steal that baby? Because that's what I would think if I saw him.
Yeah, and he starts punching the baby to try and the prop.
He's like punching the prop baby and like dragging it around and like he's like shaking it and stuff. And these ladies are watching him.
Like horrified.
Do it like horrified. They're watching him. I was just like, we have a distinct lack of calling the police, because that would have been a funny misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And also would have been a great opportunity for the baby to bite all the police.
Yep.
But it was also another very enjoyable scene because it was just hilarity the whole time. It's like he's just running around basically abusing this baby, but trying to look like he's taking care of it. And it's a horrible looking puppet too.
Oh god, it's terrifying.
It's disgusting looking. But it's a really cute like addition to the movie. But yeah, and then
I think part of it is just to get him out of the house, because then that's when the uncle discovers the bodies.
Yeah, Uncle discovered the bodies when they happened to be knocked out.
So
So he thinks that the guy is just hiding dead bodies in the basement like a sicko, but in reality, it's like no, they're not exactly dead.
I'd hate to call the police on you, but the property and all, and so
yeah, so the uncle basically uses that opportunity to like strong arm him into giving him the house and signing over the house and everything, and it's so transparent and like ridiculous looking that we have this expression on the main character's face of like he looks like he's about to trick him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He's like, oh, he's gonna sign over the house. Like, I was like, you'd maybe lead him into the basement and be like, oh.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna kill him.
I thought he was gonna, like, straight up. I was like, you're gone far down this path. Like, you can kill him at this point. like this. That's what his face looked like. He was gonna trick him or kill him or something. Before the guy even signs the house over, he's like, let's have a party at the house.
Yep.
What?
He doesn't go break in the place. Tells him, it's like, I don't know what you're going on for it, but I want those bodies buried.
Yeah,
and so he gets
he still knows that there's bodies in the basement,
and
he invites people over as if the son was gonna immediately get rid of the bodies as soon as he said, like, you can have the house. Like, that's not how that works.
Yep.
And then
Bakita comes by.
Bakita comes by because she's dating the milkman now.
Yeah, sees the party. It's like, what the hell's going on there? And comes in, gets assaulted by Fucko, the
uncle, who's once again PJ and his gross characters. Just like, we just gotta make like his like perverted, like sexist characters. He just has to. I think he has, except in he didn't really have it in Bad Taste, but
no, there really wasn't anyone.
Yeah, but it was in Meet the Feebles. It was just like the gross sexist men that have like no redeeming qualities whatsoever. You're just like, I'm waiting for you to die now. But I guess maybe he likes that character. I guess he just wants those characters to be like, there is absolutely nothing for you to care about this character. You want this character to die. So, and I'm going to give this moment to you later on in the movie.
It's very ham-fisted.
Yeah. But
gets rebuked. She basically racks him, and they end up back in the basement, and then it's when she finds out about the zombies, essentially.
Yeah, it was like, oh, he's surrounded by death. It's like, you've believed everything your grandmother said, and that's the thing that you're a little iffy about. You weren't iffy on the you'll find your true love and love him forever thing. That was, I'm sold. Yeah. Like, but he's surrounded by death. You're like, I still kind of want to hang out with him. Like, what? Like, I don't believe you. Okay, it's just like, we're just gonna pick and choose which advice we want from grandma from her tarot cards. She
didn't seem that old either. It's like, there's still time, girl.
Yeah, really. They're really young.
Yeah.
So yeah, then the
poisons, buries them, goes to seek advice.
Oh, and it's they try to make it such a sad moment when he has to poison all of them because they play like sad music, and I'm just like, I don't feel anything.
Yeah.
For these guys.
Your mom was crazy.
I was like, maybe if she was a good mom and then died.
Yeah.
I kind of feel something. I was like, I feel bad for the priest because I'm like, damn, he was so cool. But that's it. That's the only one that I'm like, oh. But apparently he didn't turn the poison bottle around where it said stimulant on it.
Not.
It's just like, it's a poison for humans, but it's a stimulant for animals.
I thought it was the other way.
Or it said animal stimulant.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's like, whatever.
I was like, it's not like it was a tiny bottle with fine print. Like, that was literally on the other side of the bottle.
That's fair. Yeah, it's pretty bold.
Yeah. So of course, this stimulates the zombies and makes them even more powerful. So they all
like jump up out of the ground, full standing motion,
and then just go to town.
Yep.
And then we end up with our
inciting incident of to round out the rest of the film. So this prolonged fight goes on for about almost as long, if not as long, as the one in Bad Taste.
Yeah.
But it is miles more engaging.
Yeah, because there's a lot more going on. It's not like it's like everybody in this house is gonna die.
Oh yeah.
And it's just creative ways of where it's happened. And then it's a lot of Paquita showing her badassness finally, and the son growing some balls and starting to fight. And the uncle, because it's how that thing was just like the person who's the worst, you kind of make them last like longer than everybody else. So you just drag it out to so that when they die, it feels really good. But yeah, the uncle just starts hacking.
Yeah, he goes
at people because he's just like fuck it because he's not a good character, so he has no qualms with hacking at people.
At one point, it's the uncle's still trying to fight off things on there. He manages to get back inside because Bakita and I forgot the girl's name. So one random person survive and they're holed up in one of the rooms.
Yeah.
And pull him inside. And at one point, Bakita and the other girl end up leaving, but the uncle's still in there, and he pulls out like 2 butcher knives. It's like, come and get some, essentially.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And they show him later on like a pile of arms and legs and other various limbs up to like his fucking waist.
Yeah, and it seems to be like the only way to really kill these guys is just to hack them to pieces because, like, the people who are split in half, their head is gone. They're still moving, and even like we said, the organs have been zombified.
Yeah. Well, one of the earlier ones is like Lionel chops the hand off of something when him and Bakita are first trying to get away, and the hand is still moving by itself.
Yeah. So,
which is still weird because then there's still that pile of limbs.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's too engaging to be boring and really care about.
It's like you said, it's the opposite of the fighting scene from Bad Taste. It's long, but there's so much going on that you're just like, oh wow, this is really cool. And then Pakita gets a blender. Yep. And starts just purist. Like anything she could get, she just starts sticking them in the puree, and that was pretty cool. And then just like the whole floor is just covered.
Sliding around.
Yeah, and they're all sliding around. And then Lionel comes back with a fucking lawnmower.
It's like shit got real.
Yeah, and this just starts like holding that against, like having them run into the line.
Strapped to his back, and just like sliding around like. I appreciate. So this is one of the few points where shaking cam actually works because you're trying to show the actual character as unsteady and uneven. He's sliding, trying to carry the mass and hold it steady and just destroy zombies.
And that was cool. That was a really, really cool moment. Oh gosh. And then the baby. Oh my. So the girl that got saved with Pakita.
Yeah. The
baby like.
Breaks her head in half.
Yeah,
and pops
pushes
out.
his head through her head.
Yeah,
and I was just like, "Oh wow, okay, this is." I need to pull back and I need to look down. Alex was like, "You looked down through half the movie." I was like, "Because some of it I just couldn't take. It was so much. It was so much. It was exciting, but it was a lot. Yeah. It was a lot to handle."
Okay, let me take a break on the ride for a second.
Yeah, and he was just like, "Ooh, I need to pause." Like if I was watching this by myself, there would be a lot of pauses happening. I'm like, "Let me get up. Go drink a glass of water, maybe go to the bathroom, come back." Yeah. And they also, one of the ladies, a light bulb?
That when they were trapped in the room.
Yeah, they push her onto a light bulb, and she gets stuck there. And then she's just a piece of the background for a good 10 minutes.
She becomes a glowworm, essentially.
Yeah, and it's actually, I kind of like that attention to detail that they just kept her in the scene for a really long time, basically until the house caught on fire. But she's the reason why the house caught on fire. And then we get to see Mom.
It's like, I can't leave just yet. Why? I haven't run into Mom yet.
Yeah, but so before he does the lawnmower thing, he went into the attic.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe he was weapons.
He's trying to get away. Doesn't he end up? No, he was swinging on the chandelier or something.
Yeah, he was running from the organs.
Oh yeah, he's running from the organs.
The intestines.
So he ends up in the attic. The organs end up finding him, but while he's up there, he ends up finding a trunk, and he sees like memories, pictures of his dad, and some blonde woman.
Yeah,
was not his mom.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, there's the
skeleton
of the blonde woman.
Yeah, well, the skeleton of somebody, because there's nothing left but bones.
Yeah,
and some clothes. So we don't know exactly who it is, but it does prove that somebody was killed. Yeah. So then, because Lionel's afraid of water because he thinks that he drowned in the ocean, and his dad tried to save him, but his dad ended up drowning while he was trying to save him. So that's why he thinks he's afraid of water.
Yeah,
but he starts having this flashback of his dad being held underneath water, and then a blonde woman.
But no, it was actually his mom.
No, the blonde woman is also being drowned. Yeah. So that's what he starts having flashbacks of when he sees the photo. And then he connects it. He's just like, oh, a suppressed memory of my mother killing my father. and his mistress. And I was like, wow. And that's when I was just like, oh, she's not just a manipulative mother, she's a psychopath.
Yep.
So, yeah, mother has transformed into...
For some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. There's no real reason. Because they're like, oh, it's the stimulants, but that didn't do anything to anyone else.
Because the creepy uncle ends up becoming a neck.
Yeah, he's just a head and a spine.
Like on top of like what looks like a spider body, essentially.
Yeah.
From what's left after being devoured by Mother.
Yeah, it's just the bones are left. Well, not the bones.
Yeah.
It's the spine and then...
The Keto whips him, pulls the spine and head together and bolos it, or...
Yeah.
Shot
puts it.
Yeah, there we
go. Shot puts it. But it's the mother's like this crazy beast now, and like climbing on top of the house, King Kong style.
Yeah, super Freudian. I'm sure there's a super Freudian read of this somewhere.
Definitely. So he's like, I have to fight Mother. I have to kill Mother. So he goes up to the roof and confronts her, and
she puts him back. Puts like, Mother knows best or whatever.
Well, she says like, no one will love you like your mother, and like stuffs him in her stomach.
Yeah.
And then he uses like the amulet that he got from Paquita's grandmother to
literally saw his way out. And then he's literally born again.
Yeah, he's born again. Alex was like, he's born again. I was like, not the time. Not the time for jokes. It's gross.
Oh, that was what they were going for.
Yeah,
it's campy as fuck.
Super campy. It was just like, so, yeah. It was just, and there's just limbs everywhere. The house is on fire. They're both covered in blood, and they're like, they're gonna make out. And I was like, this is gross.
It's like, I would be asking the firefighters, can you just point a hose at me?
Yeah, just like this. I don't know. And I'm also just like, they're gonna find all those charred dead bodies, and they're not gonna know
like, why
that it was because they were diseased. Like, it's gonna look like there was a massacre in the house, and you're the first subject on the list. The first suspect.
You were the homeowner.
Yeah. Ugh, crazy. But yeah, I enjoyed it more than Meet the Feebles, but I couldn't watch half of it because it was so gross.
This was a film I would be comfortable watching multiple times. It's so over the top.
It is so over the top. I feel like once I get over the grossness of it, it's fun to watch. Like once you get over like all the blood and guts and how ridiculously like gory it is, then it's like, okay, this is actually really fun to watch. Yeah. Like I said, I enjoyed the fight scenes and I enjoyed the scene with the baby. And
you did.
I thought it was hilarious.
I mean,
because he looked so manic.
It looked like a garbage pail baby.
It looks like a garbage pail baby, but that's the thing, like you don't feel sympathy for it being like knocked around and stuff. It just looks funny because he looks so crazed while it's happening, and then everybody's just watching him and nobody's saying anything. Because I guess they're just like, well, we don't want him to come near us, kind of thing. Yeah. But it's just so ridiculous, and that's why I loved it. It was so funny. But yeah, final thoughts.
So compared to, Meet the Feebles has the least amount of structure compared to the other two. It's the first one. So
no, Bad Taste.
I'm sorry, Bad Taste is the first one. Yeah, so Meet the Feebles is odd comparatively. They
didn't really have a script for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
They just kind of threw it all together.
And it shows.
Yeah.
So Bad Taste is definitely more coherent because it definitely has a beginning, middle, end, and it knows what it's trying to be. But I feel like it's one of those things where maybe just the budget didn't allow for what they could have gone with. And
I think that was just money.
Yeah. So I mean, it was the first one. So
yeah, that's true.
But it was still like for what it was. Like I said, I wouldn't mind showing it to people. Mm-hmm. I think it's still an enjoyable romp of silliness. As for if given a choice between the three, Brain Dead. All the fucking way.
Alex was super happy. Like, he was, like, grinning watching the movie. He was like, that was so good.
Because it's so over the fucking top. It pulls no punches on it. It's like, is this going to happen? It's totally going to fucking happen. It just goes there. I mean, between Kung Fu priests, lawnmower dissection, and, like, just...
zombie baby abuse.
Yeah, it's all over the place. But it's a hot mess.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful hot mess.
But unlike with the other two movies, because of how invested we were in the relationship between Lionel and his mother, we actually felt the satisfaction when she died, as opposed to, I believe, like, I didn't really feel anything about the aliens in Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles. Like I said, I had no stock in any of those characters. But like with Lionel and Paquita and the mom, I actually felt like, yes, like she deserved it. Like closure. Finally you can move on with your life kind of thing. So that's what I enjoyed about it. Like I feel like that was the thing that Peter Jackson was trying to get with the other movies. He was trying to be like, well, you want the bad guys to die because you're like, oh, they're so horrible. But like this he actually accomplished with Brain Dead, because you felt the satisfaction when the uncle got eaten by the mom, and you felt the satisfaction when the mom finally died, you know. So I enjoyed that part about it.
And for such an early film of his, like you can actually see, if you like Lord of the Rings, I'm not saying if you like Lord of the Rings, you should watch this.
No. I don't know how they gave him this money.
Yeah, what I'm saying though is like if you're familiar with Peter Jackson's filming style, you will see a lot of things that kind of harken into that. You'll even see that in Bad Taste. You won't see it as much in Meet the Feebles because, again, shoot, it wasn't
supposed to be a movie.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be a fucking movie. But you see the semblance of it not as well refined in Bad Taste, but you see more of it in Brain Dead. And what I mean by that is, like, if you'll notice the way he likes the really extreme deep zoom, because that happens a few times in both films. Actually, it happens once or twice in both films on there. And also the way he frames his characters is very similar to the way you see it, and his cutaways are very similar on there. But they're well done. Also because he has a fucking tripod now.
Yeah.
Because Bad Taste didn't have a tripod.
Yeah, not at all. But it's also, when you look at it, you're just like, the characters are so one-dimensional.
Which is fine. Like,
which, I mean, yeah, it's fine.
For something like this.
With Brain Dead, you feel exactly what you're supposed to feel for each character. Like, you're supposed to feel pity for Lionel. You're supposed to feel like, oh, Paquita, she just wants, you know, like, she just wants somebody to have, like, she's so desperate for love right now.
Yeah. And then they triumph and come together.
Yeah.
He overcomes his crippling shyness and, ineptitude.
Yeah. She just gives him a chance. And
she would have taken him anyway.
Yeah, she would have taken him anyway. Like, that's
Grandma said it's meant to be.
Yeah, Grandma said it's meant to be, so it's meant to be, and that's what's happening, and that's the only thing I'm believing right now. And it's like, mother's just an obstacle, and she tries to be nice to the mom. She's very innocent.
I got a toothbrush for her.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm gonna take care of her. Does she need anything? Like, she's trying to be nice, but I was like, that's never gonna happen. It's just like one thing you need to know about those kinds of moms: they don't want anybody taking away their baby. Like, it's just not happening. But, I can tell, like, he definitely, like, he gets progressively, like, he gets better. Which, like, you can't, sometimes you see, like, a director and you're like, oh, they have hits and misses. But, like, you can see, like, he's getting better. Well, except with, because Meet the Feebles was kind of in the middle. But it was, it was, once again, not supposed to be a movie. But I really think that as a director, he has a clear mark for his characters and what kind of characters he likes. And you can even see those in Lord of the Rings. Like, he has characters that are very like, this is the character you're supposed to hate. This is the character you're supposed to cheer for.
Legolas is here for exposition.
Yeah, and we're not going to...
It's true.
That's true. Yeah. But we're not gonna mix those two together. Like, Frodo is the one you're supposed to feel sorry for, and you're supposed to like and feel attached to, and you're not going to feel anything except attachment for him. And Sauron is just the bad guy. You're not going to feel anything but hate for him. So that's the thing. It's very clear how he characterizes his characters. But I didn't really like Paquita at all. I know we're supposed to like her, but I didn't like her. So it kind of failed, but he got better at it. He got better at that. But yeah, my main question: who the hell gave him all that money? Who believed in him? I need to meet that person, because that person is like the person who was just like, yes, I believe that you can make like what is going to be one of the greatest films of time. Like, the one is the greatest cinematic masterpieces of all times.
It's interesting
after seeing Bad Taste and Dead Alive and Meet the Feebles. Like, because when we looked it up, we're like, okay, we're gonna look for movies to watch, and then before he got good, we thought it was hard.
Yeah. I remember they pitched it originally as like two films or something, and then it's like somehow they managed to get him to convince him into 3.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Like the making of Lord of the Rings. Okay, you know what? It's too far. It's like,
yeah. But what this really did was just make me want to watch his good movies.
That's fair. I don't have the box set, and Lord of the Rings was my white noise for years. Like,
I love Lord
I'm
of the
cooking.
Rings. Some people aren't. Actually, there are a lot of people who aren't really into Lord of the Rings because it just drags.
It's so good.
Yeah. All right. So, final thoughts about PJ.
Why'd you have to make The Hobbit? Anyway, well, it was a studio obligation.
It was.
But
he got to make other things with that money. King Kong was actually really good. I liked it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not amazing, but it's fun.
Yeah. But now I just want to watch his other movies that I haven't seen. There's quite a few that I haven't seen. I just thought, Lord of the Rings, that's it. That's all I need. All right, so that's all for this week. Next week we're going to be watching Quentin Tarantino.
Really?
Yeah, we're doing Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
Guillermo del Toro's last. Yeah.
Okay.
So, see you guys next time.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever the hell you may be. Take care.
Bye.